Hey y'all, my name is Priscilla and welcome back to my channel Bookie Charm. For today's video, I want to review two poetry books that I've read recently. So these two poetry books I had on my most anticipated reads list for this year, and I'm really happy to report they didn't disappoint. I'm hoping that by discussing them and reviewing them today that maybe you'll look into their work and read it, because it's very, very good. The first book I want to talk about is called Sana Sana by Ariana Brown. Yes, Sana Sana is a kind of nod to Sana Sana Colita Tarana, which is, I guess you could call a nursery rhyme that Spanish-speaking kids hear whenever they like get a cut on their knee or get hurt. And its message, I think, is just that you'll heal. Maybe not today, maybe tomorrow. And that's what this collection is all about. Ariana Brown is a Black Mexican and a queer woman from San Antonio, Texas, and she is a veteran in spoken word and performance. She's been performing for so many years. There's so many videos out here on YouTube if you want to look up her work, but she's really, really strong. And I think that this is a book about Black girlhood, about understanding your history and your roots and your trauma, and also the joy in being seen and being heard. There's so many poems in here that I could talk about. It's only 40 pages, but I really respect her craft, and I'm really looking forward to her work coming next. There's a poem in here called Cumbias that's about a tribute to Afro-Colombian rhythms. There's a poem in here called Osuna, yes, that Osuna, about seeing Black joy and feeling seen. There's a poem in here, my favorite is, of course, Dear White Girls in my Spanish class, which I saw performed like a year or so ago. That's really hits a personal chord with me, and I'm gonna go on a little bit of a personal tangent right here because poetry is personal. But that poem is about how privileged it is that these white girls, that other people can take a language as an elective, and how you can stumble through a language and laugh and treat it as if that culture and that history is a joke, because language is not just language. It's much more than that, especially to people like Ariana Brown and to me. I did not grow up in a Spanish-speaking household, so learning Spanish and taking Spanish in school was never an elective. It was an exercise in understanding myself and understanding my family and understanding where I come from, and trying to connect with something that I didn't feel like I had a right to, or that I was prepared for, or that maybe was taken from me. And a lot of that has to do with how she feels about the white girls in her Spanish class. So it begs the question of what's it like to walk the halls of someone else's massive trauma and history and blood and sweat and tears, and all on full display. That is an experience very, very unique to Ariana Brown. So I would love that poem so much, but really great collection of work, and I highly recommend you check her out. Next, I want to talk about Homie by Danez Smith. This is the follow-up to Don't Call Us Dead, which I absolutely loved and highly recommend that you read. But Homie is the 2020 release from Danez Smith, who is a queer, Black, non-binary poet. I saw them perform and got this signed at a signing here in Houston, and I feel like I really got an understanding of them and of their work. And this is a book I think mostly centered on friendship, but like other Smith's works, includes all kinds of discussions about identity and politics and loss and grief, but also joy, and really keeping those that you love most close. This is certainly poetry that wasn't meant for me. It's definitely for Black people, and of course Homie is not the real title of this book. Reading this is kind of like going to a cookout. Like, you're invited, but you have to stay in your lane. You know, you have to respect the mom and the grandmother and respect the house, and you can enjoy and listen to them, but it's not for you, right? So this was so good. The first poem I think in here is my favorite. It's called My President. It's about celebrating the people in your life that you wish were your president, that you respect and revere. It's about single mothers and grandmothers and Ariana and Trina and the trans girl in the closet and the weed man, and so good, and it builds and kind of feels like an anthem. And I really like how Smith just plays with form and structure, and the delivery of these poems, particularly live or on the audiobook, is so strong. And a number of these just hit so hard and I think are perfection. Some of them I think are stronger than others, but just a really well-rounded collection, I think. Other poems in this speak directly to Blackness and to Black identity. There's a poem in here about trees and comparison to Black folks and ancestors reaching towards the sky with their afros. That imagery with trees was really beautiful. I really liked the poem about loneliness and winters of the harshness of Minnesota, which is where Smith is from. I also really liked the creative way that they put together their acknowledgments, which are like bullet form. So here there's acknowledgments and how each line is just thanking the person in their lives that they think helped them put this together. An example of how I like they do structure in this book, for instance. So whenever they're being jumped, that they put like all the people around them in this circle here, and when they perform it, they kind of like point around them. That stuff like that is really fun. About like a gang of bees attacking them, they use this sort of form, and I really think it's really fun. This is a poem called Rose, about the girl that they teased growing up, wondering where that girl is today and if she's okay. Just really strong poems in here. So yeah, I think that these poems, much like Sana Sana's poems, are really strong, really in your face and unapologetic in Blackness and queerness. And I really adore them, and I will be reading more of their work, as I hope you will too. So that was my review of Sana Sana and Homie. I really love these works. I'm really glad to have met Danez Smith, and I hope to meet Ariana Brown. She was supposed to be here in March, of course, when the pandemic hit, but a lot of events got canceled. So yeah, I really hope that you got something from this review and maybe discovered some new poets, or maybe if you've read from these two poets, maybe you can come talk to me in the comments down below. What is your favorite poet by Ariana Brown or Danez Smith? I would love to hear it. But that's all I have for this video today. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Bye.